Hello, friends. Welcome to Squared Plans, where creative planning and organization comes to life. I'm Stephanie, and today we're going to be setting up both my quarter 3 and July monthly goals and tasks within my planner. This goal setting process keeps me productive and on task to achieve my goals throughout the year. So come plan with me. And I've got some mild liners here that I'll be using on my monthly pages and my friction pen, which I'll be writing with. So I have my annual goals pages already pre-set up and ready to go. I did do a video on this if you want to see the setup process for these pages. We're going to go ahead and start off with the quarter 3 goals page, getting that set up, and then migrating things down into my monthly pages. So first off, I've decided that I will focus in on a work goal, pulling from the vision board. I had planned to have all of my Etsy listings done by the end of June, but things just kind of got away from me. So I'm planning to wrap things up in July and then create a few new listings for my shop for the remaining months in the quarter. What I'll do is for my monthly tasks, build and list one new item per month, basically starting in August, and then listing all of my 2026 items by the end of July. Hopefully that will work. I have a vacation planned in the middle of July, so we will see, but that is my new target for getting all of my new 2026 planners up in my shop. The next bullet is for weekly tasks related to the work goal, and I plan to set aside 2 to 4 hours per week to complete the tasks related to the production of these printables. And then on a daily basis, I want to time block my schedule, making sure that I have built in time to work on those Etsy files 2 to 4 hours per week. Next, we're going to add in a health goal. This is a normal goal that I like to have part of my quarterly goals. And this quarter, I plan to change up my health and fitness routine to try to stimulate some fat loss. It is taking so long to see any improvements, and so hoping that I can make some changes with my routine in order to stimulate something, okay? I don't know what's going on, but nothing is moving, so hopefully this goal will work. First off, every month I plan to do a major update to my current health and fitness routine, thinking like focusing in on macro eating starting one month, also to changing my weight routine. Right now I'm doing more of a endurance weight routine and maybe change that to heavy lifting, and then maybe replacing some of my cardio with some weighted incline walks. We will see if those changes make sense, but I'll try and add one in each month. Next, we have the weekly tasks that I can do. So I plan to pre-plan and schedule in my routine changes into my weekly schedule so I can keep up with it and make sure things are on track. Finally, every day I plan to monitor and track my daily routine and nutrition stats as well, and then evaluate my progress on a regular basis. The final one that I'm going to be focusing in on as far as my goals is concerned is a mindset goal. I am pulling this again from my vision board, just trying to keep myself always improving, always getting better, elevating myself, word of the year. So my mindset goal, I'm going to pull to build my confidence in social situations by basically improving my Spanish and my conversational social skills. I'm an introvert and I know some Spanish, but I live in a town that speaks a lot of Spanish as like their primary language. So I have a lot of interactions with people like in the gym or when I'm shopping in Spanish. And of course, I'm not very comfortable speaking in Spanish, although I understand quite a bit. So I want to get better at that. My plan is to, on a monthly basis, both read and research communication type guides that help me get better at communicating small talk in general, just because my introvertness is awkward. And then I have my weekly tasks to practice my skills with at least one interaction with somebody each week to help build my confidence and my, fluidity, ease of conversing. Hopefully, I can do some in Spanish, but even just a regular conversation, just getting better at my social skills since working from home has really made me so much more socially awkward than I was before. So hopefully that will work. And then finally, on a daily basis, I plan to complete some Duolingo lessons each day and then practice my Spanish with my husband, who is a native Spanish speaker, in hopes to improve my Spanish overall. So those are my quarter 3 goals. And now we're going to be building out my July monthly goals directly from those quarter 3 goals to start. I have the pages already set up. I do a monthly setup of all of the decor in my agenda planner, which is where these goals live. So if you want to see more about the decor on these pages, that'll be linked down below in the description, and you can go to that video and see the materials and how I set things up. I've already added in the very first monthly goal, which is to list all of my new 2026 files in my Etsy shop before the end of the month. That is directly from the monthly goal I have set up related to my work goal, my quarter 3 section. I went ahead and added in a work goal, kind of adding that definition of category on the side of the boxes, and did the same for my health and mindset goals, since those are also going to be added in here shortly. So first off, for that work goal, I need to break it down some more. I have thought this through a little bit in the previous month where I was planning on doing certain things. So I'm going to go ahead and pull from that. Plans are to create all of the listing images in week 1 and then prep all of the new listings on Etsy in week 2, basically create all my drafts and do the descriptions and all that stuff. Then to complete and post all of the listings, adding in the images, adding in the files during weeks 3 and 5. The reason I'm skipping week 4 is because I will be on vacation that week, so I'm trying to avoid any added stress during that week. All work and goal tasks I'm just going to try to take a break from. My vacation is a little bit longer than a week, but I am planning that in, as you'll see when we set up the weekly tasks. So for my health goal, we'll go ahead and just basically write the same thing over from the quarter 3 goals, which is to change up my health and fitness routine. This month, since I have that vacation, I'm just going to focus in on one of those monthly tasks, which is adding in walks. My first bullet will be to add in some weighted incline walks to replace my lighter cardio days. I have some cardio classes that I really enjoy. They're like dance classes, and I want to keep those. But there's some other classes where I don't really care for the instructor, yada, yada, yada. So I'm planning on using that time to add in these weighted incline walks instead to see if I can stimulate some change without overbearing my body with too much stress. We'll see if that works. The next bullet will be to pre-schedule these workouts into my weekly schedule. Again, kind of pulling directly from the quarter 3 page, and then also to track my progress and consistency daily with my health planner, as I've been doing. At the end of the month, I want to do a body composition check-in just to see if any of these efforts has made an effect for losing weight. Not just weight, but mainly losing fat on my body. Okay, so the last quarterly goal we're going to transfer over here is that mindset goal, and I'm putting it in that fourth box just because I know there's a little bit more room to add in the tasks. That goal will be to improve my Spanish and social conversation skills, just basically condensing down that goal. My first bullet will be to research my social communication guides to help improve basically my small talk and communication skills with others. I'll also add in some practice with those single interactions per week, at least having one with a stranger, building out my confidence with that. Then want to do a refresh of my Spanish language skills, speaking and also just knowledge through practice and daily lessons. So, like I said, just trying to keep up those skills. If you don't use it, you lose it. And I've definitely lost a lot of my Spanish speaking skills. So I need to improve that and see if I can at least converse with some of these native Spanish speakers here where I live now. And then for the fourth goal, I've decided I'm just going to pull a life goal. I've been planning this for a couple of months now, but it's going to be take a real vacation from that category. I have that vacation planned. It's a bit of a mix of a leisurely vacation as well as like a family and friends visitation vacation, which you guys know, when you go to visit your family and friends, it's not always the same as having like a standalone tropical vacation, or you know what I mean, or something that's more like adventurous where you're going to see a specific place. So we will see how that goes as far as feeling like a vacation, but I'm still excited. I plan to spend some quality time with my family and friends. I want to definitely minimize any work tasks while on vacation. So only urgent requests I'm going to be accepting. Otherwise, I'm going to try to just not do things. We'll see if it works. And then finally, just enjoy and live in the moment, relax and de-stress. I feel like I've been in a bit of a burnout, so just looking forward to more of a real vacation vibe. Okay, so we've got the monthly goals in for July. Now we're going to do one last step to really help me achieve those goals throughout the month, and that is to break things down by week. This insert is available in my shop if you're interested. This is the goals and tasks insert. This is the 2.0 version. There is also a initial version with 4 boxes for the weeks. So if you don't need 5 boxes, if you only need 4, you can use that version too. That's the previous version, but this is the 2.0, and it will be linked down below in the description as well. So I've just basically added in the week date span on each of the 5 boxes, starting with June 30th and then going down through August 3rd. I've also decided to add in my vacation kind of prompt there, which weeks I'll be on vacation, so that I know how to plan those weeks out. I always need to do video production each week, and that takes up quite a bit of time. So I'm going to start off by adding in those tasks because that is something that will take a lot of my time and effort, and I need to have those in mind when I'm planning out my goals tasks. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up the first week and then kind of fill in the prompts for the rest of the weeks. I'll finish those out at the end of the video while we're wrapping things up. But just so you know, that's why I'm planning like that. And I started to add them in for week 4, but I will definitely not be doing any filming or editing that week. So I will be taking a break from YouTube during that time frame, coming back in week 5. In the past, when I had more time, I would do some pre-planning and make sure that I had extra videos ready to go. I am so burnt out, you guys, so I'm just going to say vacation, no videos for a week. I've also added in to check my body comp at the very bottom in week 5, pulling from my health goal since I do want to make sure that that is done at the end of the month. So I added that in on one of the lines there. Then I started adding in my work goal tasks, starting with week 1, creating the listing images, week 2, preparing all the new listings, and then weeks 3 and 5, completing and posting all the listings, starting with the classic and the big sizes in week 3, and then wrapping things up in week 5. Next, I'm adding in completing 3 weighted walks each week. I'm just going to start with the weighted walks the first week and then add in the incline in week 2 and week 3. Again, I'm not putting any pressure on myself in week 4, so we're not going to worry about getting in walks. I will be doing a lot of walking at Comic-Con, so I'm sure I'll get my fitness in, at least in that time frame, and then went ahead and added it to week 5 as well. We've got those health weekly tasks. Let's go ahead and look into those mindset goal tasks that I had for improving my social and Spanish skills. We want to have at least one social interaction a week, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that in, make sure I'm trying to communicate with people on a weekly basis. And then also I want to do a daily Duolingo lesson each day just to get that Spanish practice in. So I'm going to add completing 7 lessons of Duolingo as a task each week as well. I've added that in again to weeks 1, 2, 3, and we're going for week 5. Going to change up week 3 a little bit because my vacation does start at the end of that week. So we're going to pull back a little bit on the goal tasks for that, making it only 2 weighted walks for that week and then completing, say, 4 lessons of Duolingo for week 3. So I've pretty much filled up most of the slots there for the weekly tasks. I do know that before I go on vacation, I have a couple of big projects that I'm going to be needing to have done, which I will write in as well for my freelance business and basically just kind of round out those weeks. That should cover all of the major things I want to achieve related to my goals and my normal workload each week for July. I'm going to go ahead and write no work goal task across week 4 just so I have another reminder that I'm not going to be focused in on anything there. Not sure if I'm going to do any planning that week either. I'm still deciding if I'm going to do more of a memory keeping kind of situation or just leave it be and not plan because I am in a bit of a burnout. Looking forward to some time away from everything so that I can just focus on what's in front of me. I'm going to go ahead and fill out the rest of those video production tasks, and once I'm done with that, you guys, we will be done, friends. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up down below. Also, go ahead and leave me a comment if you'd like to get in touch and think about subscribing to my channel. If you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And we will see you next time. Bye.